Just because the customers thought the chef's food tasted bad, they all started demanding refunds. But unexpectedly, this scene directly angered the chef. He took advantage of the moment when the two bosses weren't paying attention, and secretly came to the front hall to cause trouble for the customers. It turned out that just moments earlier, the governor's teacher came to dine here with his son and daughter-in-law. Because the food cooked by the head chef was the best he'd tasted in years, the teacher confidently recommended his son and daughter-in-law to try it. But in the next second, unexpectedly, both of them said the food tasted terrible. It wasn't until the teacher tried the food himself that he realized the flavor was off. So he went to ask the restaurant's bosses about the situation. But the two women flatly denied that they had changed the chef. As soon as they said that, it immediately angered the diners present. They had come here specifically for the food made by the original chef, not to eat garbage food. But what they didn't know was that the original head chef had already been fired by the two women, and a trainee who had only been learning for 3 days was made the new head chef. In order to keep the customers, the two women went to the kitchen and told the trainee to remake the dishes while they went to ask the original chef to come back. But little did they know, right after they left, the trainee sneaked into the front hall to confront the customers. Not only did he refuse to admit his food tasted bad, he even confidently claimed the customers were planning to dine and dash. He threatened them, saying if they didn't pay double, no one would be allowed to leave. The governor stepped forward, trying to reason with the trainee, but the trainee, unaware of who he was, didn't give him a chance to speak, and questioned who the governor thought he was, even telling him to bark like a dog. Besides, the food was made with his hard work, so if they didn't pay, they weren't leaving. Seeing this, the governor's teacher tried to reason with the trainee as an elder. He said the food didn't taste right, and it was reasonable for people to send it back. After all, the trainee's skills weren't good enough, so he should take advice and learn with humility. But right after he said this, the trainee slapped him across the face. Little did he know that slap caused huge trouble. Meanwhile, the two women who didn't know what happened arrived at the place where the head chef was now working. They thought they would politely invite the man back to stabilize the situation, but the moment they walked in, they knocked down the flowers the lady boss gave the man, and even wrongly assumed the two were dating. One of the women even confidently believed the man knew they were coming, and was acting to deliberately make them angry. But the man didn't want to talk much with them. He just wanted them to leave right away. They confidently thought the man couldn't live without them, and as long as he apologized, they would agree to let him return as head chef. Hearing this, the man couldn't believe how shameless these two women were. They were the ones who fired him back then, and now they wanted him to apologize to them. As everyone started blaming the two women, they began to feel guilty, so they took the initiative to apologize to the man. They asked him to return to the restaurant to work, and even blamed him for being childish. After all, they had already humbled themselves to apologize. They told the man he should be satisfied with that. After all, the restaurant was the result of all three of them working hard together. He couldn't just stand by and watch it collapse. When she heard this, the lady boss couldn't stand it anymore, and bluntly said the two women were too selfish. They were the ones who drove the man away, and now they were acting high and mighty, trying to force him to return. It was truly shameless, but the women didn't care, and confidently claimed everything they did was for the man's own good. No matter how the two women tried to explain, the heartbroken man still refused to go back with them. Seeing this, the woman tried to bind the man using the agreement the three of them had made. After all, the man was supposed to marry one of them 10 years later. It turned out that 10 years ago, when the three of them had just started the business, they dreamed that the restaurant would grow and prosper, and they had high hopes for the man. The two women even competed over who would marry him, so they made a 10-year agreement. The man had never forgotten that agreement, but he had confidently believed their relationship would last forever. He never thought he would lose to a trainee who only knew how to sweet talk. So the man said he wouldn't marry either of them, and he wouldn't help them solve the restaurant's problems anymore. After hearing this, the two women still didn't realize their mistake. They still thought the man was being petty and emotional, that he was just jealous of the trainee. At worst, they said, they would just pay more attention to the man in the future. But seeing that the man still wouldn't help them, the two women completely lost it. They started cursing at the man, saying straight out that without his help, their restaurant business would still thrive. Seeing how deluded the two women were, the man didn't want to say anything more to them. He turned and left the place. After the man left, the lady boss slapped each of them across the face. After all, she had held back for a long time. She never thought the two of them could be so shameless. One of the women was just about to hit back, but was so frightened by the customers behind her that she froze. The customers also couldn't stand how the two women had treated the man. They all demanded to kick them out, and just like that, the two women left the place. Little did they know, the trainee had already caused a disaster. When the governor saw his teacher had been slapped, he stepped forward to make the trainee apologize. But unexpectedly, he got slapped by the trainee too. The trainee arrogantly said, "Who do you people think you are? You're not even worthy of me apologizing." He even took the chance to threaten the other customers, saying that if they didn't pay, they'd end up like this too. Seeing how arrogant the trainee was, everyone started calling the police. Then they began smashing up the restaurant. Just then, the two women who had just returned saw this scene. They asked the trainee what had happened. When they found out the trainee had hit the governor and his teacher, they were instantly stunned. They realized they were completely done for. The clueless trainee, wanting to show off in front of the two women, was about to go up and scold the governor again. But one of the women stopped him and slapped him in the face. The trainee looked confused and asked what was going on. But the moment he found out that the man was the governor, he was completely shocked. Just then, the police arrived. After learning that the trainee had assaulted people and committed extortion, they immediately arrested him. When the customers found out the man worked at the restaurant next door, they all went there to eat. It wasn't until then that the two women finally realized their mistake, but it was already too late.